Runner. Rochelle ran. Oh, lots of other kids in the neighborhood ran too. They were just never in the same area code as Rochelle once the race started. As soon as anyone heard the word go, that'd be the last they'd see of Rochelle till the finish line, where she'd be waiting patiently. It was fun to be fast, especially since Rochelle's brothers and sister were all younger than her, which meant a lot of work and not much time for fun. Her Sunday school teacher would try to comfort her by telling her she'd have more fun when she got older. But she already felt old. Starting high school offered her so many new possibilities, new friends, new teachers, and one of the best track teams in the state. She'd never been on a track team before, and the thought of it just made her so happy. But who's kidding who, she thought. She still had chores and babysitting to do after school, so a team thing would never work out. The first few months went pretty much as expected. Rochelle enjoyed her new classes so much that she could often be found reading extra books on any given subject while babysitting her youngers. She'd met several good new friends and even enjoyed the very occasional sleepover. But as Christmas came and went, and the thought of trying out for the track team really began to eat at her. Her birthday was only about a week away, but she wasn't expecting much. It was so close to Christmas that it was hard for her parents to have money or for an extra gift, let alone energy for a party. So eventually, the whole birthday thing became more of a handmade card to show you that we love you occasion, which really kind of stung since she did so much to help the family. So this year, when her mom caught her after school and told her that they were going out for her birthday, she fake laughed and said, "Good one, Mom," only to almost pass out when she found out her mom was serious. And she really thought she'd walked into the wrong house when her mom said, "You get ready while I go pick up the babysitter." Talk about speed. It only took a few moments for her to be changed and ready at the door. Her mom got back with the daughter of a friend from church, and just as Rochelle was thinking, "Who are you and what have you done with my mom?" they left for the very first mother-daughter time that she could ever remember. After a great burrito and some catching up conversation at Chipotle, Mom suggested one more stop on the way home. Pulling up to a huge sporting goods store, they found their way toward the back. Already having a hard time holding it in, her mom almost burst out with, "Your dad and I want to get you some running shoes." "I know that we don't usually do much for your birthday, and we're really sorry about that," her mom went on. "It's been pretty tight for a long time. But we both just got a little raise, and we decided that we'd hire that girl from church to babysit a bit so that you can try out for the track team. And when you make the team, we'll hire her every afternoon so you can be at practices. So let's find you just the right shoes to show those track people what some real speed looks like," her mom finished with the flourish of a sports announcer at a championship game. Rochelle did try out. She not only made the team, she made varsity. She was turning in times that hadn't been seen around there for over 20 years. She practiced long and hard, and it all felt like fun. Her coach started racing her in two events, the 100 and 200 meters, and she placed first in both at the first 4 meets of the year. She was on top of the world. Others started to make friends with her, and She felt a little popular for the first time in her life. It was almost too easy. After her sophomore season finished, Rochelle had gone undefeated in her events all the way to 2 state titles. Her successes on the track made her head swim. And it all led to a better and better social life, which really started to cut into her practices. Beginning her junior year, her coach called her into her office and told her she was entering her in one more event, the 400-meter relay. Rochelle had never run a relay before, but she'd seen them at the meets, so she was sure she could handle it. You'll run the anchor leg, her coach explained. You'll be running with Sarah, Aaliyah, and Emma, and we expect great things. But coach, Sophie and Jada are both faster than 2 of those girls. Why don't you put us all together and we'll blow everybody away, offered Rochelle. No, they're needed in other events, her coach deflected. Let's run this card and see what we can do. Well, practices didn't go very smoothly, as the 4 new relay members tried to perfect their starts and handoffs and such. Timing was critical, and they just didn't have it. Regardless, the first meet of the year came, and Rochelle won her solo events as usual, but in the initial running of the relay, they couldn't even produce a second-place finish. They actually came in last. Rochelle was furious. She'd never lost before, let alone come in last. She was humiliated, and she blamed the coach. See what you did, Rochelle almost yelled at the coach, even though her team had still won the meet. That was the most embarrassing thing I've ever been a part of, she stormed onto the bus, not caring who heard her. She fully expected the coach to change the lineup after witnessing such a disaster. But her coach did nothing, not even talk to Rochelle. This went on all season. Rochelle fumed and fussed to the point of exasperation. She kicked water jugs. She yelled at teammates. She cut practices. She couldn't understand why the coach would treat her so bad. Why won't she make a change? Every frustration she'd ever experienced, and there were a lot of them, seemed to be boiling together in her brain, leaving her in tears, questioning if anyone cared about her anymore. It wasn't until after the last meet of the season, yielding the exact same results, that Rochelle slowed down on her angry ranting and held a separate meeting with her relay mates. She asked them how they felt about the losing. They were all just as sick of it as Rochelle was. But what can we do about it, was the common complaint. We can get better, Rochelle stated simply. We'll need to practice all summer. We need serious work on our handoffs and on our timing. We can study other relay teams and figure this out. Is everybody willing? Yes, it was unanimous. And so they did. They found times almost every day all summer and dedicated those practices to becoming a smooth operating unit. They cheered each other on and worked and worked and worked. They ate together, laughed together. They shared secrets and dreams. They became best friends that summer. And when their senior season began, the results were a little different. Every week they moved up a place at the finish, and after 4 weeks they actually won the event. Let's go! That's what I'm talking about, shouted Rochelle as she flew across the finish line. And that turned out to be the turning point. Every meet for the rest of the year, the relay team won. Even when one would get a late start or another would muff a handoff, they'd find a way to give Rochelle a chance to win it in the end, and she always did. At the end of the season, the coach approached Rochelle and congratulated her on building such a beautiful team. "Oh, I can't take much credit," she demurred. "I just needed to grow up some." And those three just needed a little encouragement. Then, after a brief pause, she added, "But you knew that, didn't you? When you put us together, you knew we'd fail." "Well," her coach started slowly, "I knew it wouldn't be easy, and everything else had been a little too easy for you up till then. So I wanted to put you in a place where you would have to work harder, and maybe even learn to wait patiently for success. I knew that college track would be much more demanding, and I also knew that you were built for much more than college track. So you'd have to learn how to work hard and work with others to accomplish what God had in mind for you." "Well, thank you," Rochelle responded. "I really do feel more ready for whatever college track will throw at me." But what do you mean, built for much more than college track?" "Well, do you remember your first tryouts when we told you that we hadn't seen those times in over 20 years, Coach asked. "Sure," said Rochelle. "Well, the girl we saw come through here before was Florence Griffith. She got married in college, and Florence Griffith Joyner went on to win 3 gold medals at the 1988 Olympics. She still holds the record for the fastest time in the 100 meters Olympic trials. And, oh, by the way, she won her gold medals in the 100, 200, and the 400-meter relay." And just between you and me, the coach kind of whispered, "When I look at you, I think Flojo's records don't stand a chance."